What's going on, guys? It is Laser here with another weekend video analysis. It's 11:40 a.m. on a Saturday. What a tremendous week this has been for NIO. I want to address a couple things. Number one, I want to apologize for getting my analysis wrong. It really made me take a step back and take a look at the charts, try and figure out where I got things wrong. And with technical analysis and with trying to nail this down, it's been a challenge. Last week I felt like I got humbled. I got it wrong. I was confident that there'd be another pullback, and it wasn't the case. And I just want to say, isn't that like a tremendous, after doing a share offering, it's pushed out even higher? That is something absolutely wild, something absolutely crazy. And now, normally the way I actually do these videos, I like to talk about the short-term time frame momentum, but I want to start off by actually talking about the long time frames as to why I think this can 3x, 4x, maybe even 5x, potentially back to all-time highs, and why things are different today from a technical perspective versus why is this rally different from this, and all these other rallies, right? And even here, and even here, and even here. Like, what's different about this rally? And how could we compare that and look at other stocks? So that is one thing. Now, before we begin, if you're making a big financial decision, I'm just going to go ahead and let you know, please do your own research. Please do your own due diligence. I'm just the guy who loves the stock, and I'm just sharing what I see. I'm sharing my opinion. And I've been wrong in the past before. I've gotten last week's wrong. So I'm telling you guys, take what I say with a grain of salt. It's just my opinion. But my opinion is that I think NIO's getting ready. It's gearing up and revving up to go on a huge parabolic run. I've never been more bullish about it. Let me take some time now to share why. So we're going to switch to the weekly time frame for those of you who've been watching my videos. Before, we talk about the velocity divergences and pullbacks indicator. You may notice this blue line is new. Now, if those of you who are new and who are not here, this is your first time hearing about this. This is my custom indicator that measures the speed of each of these moves, and it measures how fast they're actually going to compare it. And so sometimes what we end up seeing is we see the price making higher highs, but the velocity making lower lows, or vice versa. The velocity making, lower highs, but the price making higher highs. And it gives us an idea for divergences. Now, we try and use this to give us hints and directions into the trend and find momentum shifts. Right now, I have a new line that I drew out from just analyzing and studying. Now, I want to point something out to you guys here, okay? Pay attention. This is something new, and we're going to, in order for us to really nail home and explain the thesis as to why I believe it's going to go parabolic, that's what I want to talk about today. And I will wrap up by talking not just about NIO, especially if you're new here. We will touch up on Baidu. We'll touch up on the Hang Seng Index. We'll touch up on BABA, the US dollar. We'll look at all of those things, actually, and we'll try and give you my opinion as to where I see things going with everything. I wanted to just bring to your attention here, let's see, not the eraser. So you'll notice this entire section right over here, everything kind of got sold off. And I'm trying to highlight over here now on my indicator how all of these runs were being sold off. Okay, you see that? I'm trying to color in. I feel like a kindergarten just coloring in this section here. But you'll notice everything got sold off. Okay, all sold off up until now. And we are clearly well above this blue line on the 350 chart line. And you can see the last time we got a parabolic run, it was above. Okay, that's when our parabolic run took place on NIO. Now, that's just not enough to really hit my point. That's just NIO, and I don't think it's enough points to really, really hit home. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to open up my watch list just to nail home this point as to why I believe this is very significant, being above this blue line, 350. And it doesn't quite hold a lot of weight until you start seeing a lot of different other stocks. So let's go and look at SoFi. SoFi is a pretty good example. SoFi which is it's a bank. It's a fintech stock, by the way. That was at $28 and it went down to as low as 5, and now it's literally back to all-time high. During this whole period here, now notice it actually tried breaking out, and when it did break out, it was making higher highs. This whole period, which doesn't seem like a long period, but it was from April 22nd to July 23rd, a full year. It stayed below our blue trend line. And notice now that we're above, even here, it made everything like trend in that upwards direction. Now I'm going to try and think of another stock here. I'm just going to go down this list and try and change. I'll just pull up AMC just for an example here, because this is one that actually, we're just going to remove the drawings real quick here. Notice this is a stock that was trending down. Notice above here, above the on the weekly, which would have been this, and you got this massive parabolic run. Now I want to also, I like using AMC as an example because notice it's still below this midline. AMC, okay, so it's a meme stock, but also it does represent like when you're below, you're gonna get that negative price action. Snap is a really good example here of below this price action. It tried over here, but we're still below. It's still below that price action. And notice this price just flat, completely flat there. Here's a stock that's starting to move now. Very similar chart to NIO, where it basically bottomed out what seemed like forever. And now it's starting to trend up. Well, take a look here. It's finally above that midline here, actually. I do believe this is going to be a stock that will eventually go up. Now, one that I think a lot of you guys are familiar with is Robinhood. Robinhood's another similar example. Like, I want to use this as an example because Robinhood, let me just erase this here. I'll just remove my drawings on this. Robinhood, you can just see like there's your cup and handle too. Like it's incredible, this thing. There it is. Completely bottomed. And then it decided to say, I'm going to go back and retest all-time highs. Can I point out something really interesting here to you? You'll notice, where's my tool here? Right here. Notice, pay attention to the velocity divergence above the 350 line. This entire, from October 2000, basically 2 years of flat. 2 years of working towards flat. And as soon as it got above, now I can find multiple examples. I'm going to show you silver, AG. This is like a silver stock. There's actually one of my followers on Twitter. We message back and forth. This is another really good one, actually. That really shows you what's actually happening here. Notice, and silver started to pick up. Notice that when we were about below, down, and now it's above. It's starting to pick up, actually. And we can apply this to multiple stocks. Let's see if this works for Savannah. Okay, Savannah, another stock, completely crushed. Back up. All right. Notice when we were back above, did we get dips on Savannah? Yes, of course we got dips, but the overall direction and path was back towards all-time highs. It was just different. Notice it's just above. Here's another stock that got completely crushed, and it's trying to make, I believe it's going to try and make that move up, but it's dancing. It is dancing, but it's making higher lows along the way. Not the best example. I want to show you a really, really, really bad stock, by the way, is Tilray. This is a weed stock. And some of you guys are thinking like, well, why are we talking about Tilray, all these stocks? I wanted NIO. It's to illustrate the value here of the significance. Now, if you notice, it's now finally broken above that. And look at the price action too. It's different. Something's building up on Tilray as well. Now, if we go back to NIO again, and I want to bring this all the way back to NIO, I want to show you guys why things are going to be potentially different. Why I think that it's potentially doing that back to all-time highs. And the reason I say 3x is that would be like a fair time frame within the next year. Where is it? Oh, not the eraser demonstration. And I do believe it's NIO's turn to work itself up. It has the equation now for being above. Now, that's not to say there's not going to be dips, like I said. And in fact, if I took us back even to 2019, where we broke above, it did give you that one last swoop, and then off it went. Off it went. And I do believe that is currently happening and in play here. And let me give you guys another example. You know what? I'll just throw GameStop because it's a meme in here. I'm just going to erase. I don't even know why I had all those drawings, but I want to point out something to you. Before GameStop squeezed, and you can see this is a really good example. Everyone knows GameStop, by the way. Very good example. Below almost like forever, what did the price do? Completely trash. Broke above, and let's go like that so you can just see the price. That's GameStop before it actually had its squeeze. Okay, before it had its squeeze. Broken clearly well above that weekly trend line. And of course, we all know how GameStop, I don't think I have to explain to you guys how GameStop actually ended up. Now that's kind of an anomaly. That's just something here. Intel's very interesting. I got a point. I think Intel's another one that's probably it's an interesting one, but that's not what today's about. I know we want to talk about NIO. I needed to take time and share with you guys why that's really, really important. And here's AFRM. It's still in the process of working its way towards all-time highs. Notice how things have changed. Flat, and now we're above the weekly, this midline here. And I can't stress enough how massive that is. Actually, I talked about DJT. I want to show you something interesting here. Look at DJT, completely trash. What did it do when it broke above the weekly? Broke above the weekly, and then of course there was the news, but it had a massive move. Now where is it below? It's below trash price action, completely trash. And you can just find that over and over and over again on any of these stocks, actually. So it's very, and of course you go to any of these like really like blue chips, you'll see the ones that are just going up and up and up. You'll see that when it's when you're above that 350 line on the weekly, it don't matter when it dips. It's just gonna push to new highs all the time, over and over and over again. So I hope I hit that point, and I think this was going to be a point that I never talked about, so it's something new. If you've been watching all my videos on a week-to-week basis, this is something that we've never discussed about. Then, of course, you go to the 24-hour time frame. This works on every time frame. I've noticed that when I've drawn out this line, we can try and get an idea for what's trending, what's not trending actually here. So I'm very happy with the way things are developing. Now, if we were to go back and talk about short-term momentum, which is what we try and do when we try and measure where this is going, this is a tremendous, an absolutely tremendous breakout. Huge and tremendous breakout. Now, things are a little bit slowing down here, and we're just shy of hitting 780, which is going to be the prophecy for the cup and handle inception. I know there are some that believe that this is the cup and handle. Maybe they're right. Maybe this is the cup. This was the handle. Maybe this was your cup, and that's your handle. For me, I like to see that previous high broken, which is 778, and that's where I'm actually looking to see where things are going to go. Now, if you take a look, let me see if I can do this. You'll notice right over here on this bull flag, up to 523, back down to 494, and then it went. I got to show you something. Notice it broke below, which signaled that time to go, that was your dip. Is it going to be the same? I mean, technically it did it right here, actually. It broke below and then it signaled. You could argue, let's see. Not quite, not quite. So it is, by the way, it did hit one of my targets, by the way. 750 was one of my targets. But because of the fact that I'm looking more long term, I see the potential for 780. I see the potential for 8. This thing has more room to run. I believe that. But short term, maybe. And if you're looking for price targets, and I've had someone said like, "Hey, where can I get in?" Short term, I really want to see it kind of like hold this line right here at $6.83. How big of a drop would that be if it actually made it that way? A 7% drop? You might get that there before this thing decides to, push higher. On the 1 hour time frame, I do see some weakness. It broke below the 200-day moving average. It is making a lower low. Something that it did, by the way, right over here, it made a lower low on the 200-day moving average, and that kicked off like up another bull flag. So I see some of those signs, but I'm not fully sold yet. Where things kind of started breaking down, you'll notice, is when it actually broke below our midline. And that's when it took some time to, give us our first and our second breakout and build up again. I do believe that is totally game. I think there could be another bull flag that could potentially form here, and it's just going to keep going here. A perfect example also, I think, was kind of like how Open's another perfect example where it would it would break up and it would give you a pullback, give you like that bull flag, break up, break down, break up, break down. And it's just, I think that's going to be also something that's going to take place here with NIO. Something very positive, something very, very good here. And I can't stop keeping my eyes on that $7.80. I feel like that's going to be a massive celebration if it gets above that level. So we're going to erase here. 2 hours, we're still above the 200-day moving average. Very, very good. And it's still potentially, that's the wrong tool I want to use. Still potentially making our higher low on the 2 hours here. We haven't gotten the top. I don't believe we've gotten the top of this bounce, but it's a possibility because 750 is a major, major level here. What I do want to see, if that's the case, I see it being kind of like shallow. If it does this more, and then you go like that, maybe you're going to get something like that. Maybe. I'm having a tough time really pinpointing where I think this thing is going. But on the 24 hours, everything looks great. Everything looks fantastic. The only thing that I'm seeing is there is a bearish divergence with the price. So the price the price made it higher, but it didn't do that with the same matching velocity, which is bearish. Short term. It's bearish short term. So if next week it starts working its way down, and you're looking for a spot to get in, ideally 683, potentially as low, like 650, maybe. Like if it wanted to do that, I think this thing is super duper bullish. As I kind of made my point here on the weekly time frame, and again, there's going to be dips along the way. I'm not going to be able to nail that down every step of the way, but there is some weakness on the shorter time frames, and normally that would be a very concerning thing. If you saw weakness here. You saw weakness here, or weakness here, or even weakness here, it would mean, oh my God, it's going to start going way down. It's going to start going way down. How things are different now is we're way above. And I showed you all those examples where when you're above that, things are different. So you're going to have to kind of hang tight because I think there's going to be some massive positive price action that's coming. Is it ruled out like a big pullback like this? No. But if it happens, anyone that gets in on that will be super lucky. Something gigantic, I think, is coming for NIO. Something gigantic is coming, not just for NIO. Let's look at Baidu, for example. Can I just point out to you guys how Baidu did like almost freaking nothing during this entire, like, it was just like sideways. Like, what the hell is it even doing? Completely sideways. And now we're finally back above. That was a whole year of just sideways. Now it's back up over the weekly. Back up and over the weekly. And the last time it did that was it was towards the top. But the time before that, you had a huge parabolic rally that took place on Baidu. 150% rally. And even the time before that, you had 50-60% of a move. I still think we haven't gotten that. I talked about like the cup and handle inception here. It completely shattered this. It might even just be coming straight for this, right for 160. It might just be wanting to do this. And Baba too. Baba's like blown away my it's completely gone vertical, Baba. And where is Baba? I think Baba right up there, 174. It'll take up this high. And take a look at Baba, by the way. Can I use Baba? Did I show you guys Baba? Don't want to delete everything here, but I want to point out to you when Baba broke down from its all-time highs at 309. So how many years was that? That was 3 years. 3 years, by the way, of shitty price action. Completely broke above it. Completely broke above it. There's going to be some really amazing price action in the future for Baba, for all of China. I threw KWeb in here because KWeb is another really good example. Because I know it's another Chinese example where you had all this shitty price action. All of these rallies ended like completely short. And look at KWeb. KWeb is already making that. It's looking like KWeb wants to go also parabolic. It's curling. It's curling. Things are changing. And then you go into the Hang Seng Index. On that weekly time frame, this drop right here was the first drop above the week, and it's been just trending. And you go and you watch this entire price action from August 2021, which would represent this price action, where it's like kind of like, I mean, it wasn't shitty price. There was some good opportunity money to be made, but like I think there's been a flip that took place, and things are ready to flip up and trend way higher. Actually, now if I look real close, by the way, on the Hang Seng Index on the 24-hour time frame, it is at resistance. You can see from historical resistance, it bounced off a historical resistance. But I gotta point out something massive here to you guys on that Hang Seng Index. The last top here, the last three, and I talked about this, took place with the velocity up here, which makes me think we're going to see much higher on China. Much higher. And this thing has just been chugging away above this line. And you're going to just continue to grind way higher here on the Hang Seng Index. And look at the US dollar, by the way. We haven't been able to break above that. And because of that, the price action has been garbage, which is good for equities. and it looked like it did crack. It did crack above, so it's trying to. But that's where your big moves are going to come. They're going to come above 350. So we could see this extend. It's just been straight the US dollar. I don't know how to really kind of put words into it. We could do the same thing with Bitcoin, by the way. Looking at this line here on the weekly, I'm sure it's just like constantly over. It's just consistently over this thing. It was over the weekly, and then it's just nonstop. It's been nonstop up for Bitcoin. And I'm trying to find another example because I really like showing these at the beginning where I was showing you these examples here. Okay, so PayPal's another good example of like, this is like an awesome company, but price action has been garbage for quite some time, and it's starting to pick up momentum, but you can tell it's not quite there yet. It's almost there. I'm willing to bet eventually it's going to get it. PayPal. SMCI is going to be another parabolic one. Look how shitty the price action has been here. I mean, I wouldn't call that shitty going from 18 to 74, but like at all-time highs was 122, and it just broke above the weekly and gave you that pullback. Something big is going to come on the SMCI. What's one? Riven? Riven's going to be another one. It's trying. You can see it's trying. So it's not a guarantee when it breaks above that weekly. You could get those pullbacks, but you can just see each of those pullbacks are making higher lows. Riven's an American company, so and just like a Hood did it, and all the other American companies do it. After a while, eventually, it's just going to go up. I think everything eventually will go up. I think. I'm trying to think. Hood is my favorite example, actually. Completely garbage, and then you're making money. There's one that people are talking about is Grab. Grab's actually interesting because take a look. This is another one, completely garbage, price action, $3 forever. And what happened here? It's now trading at basically 52-week highs. And I can see it rise back up eventually into 17 and 18. That's another one people are talking about. I can go on and on, but Soon. I really liked Soon. Soon's another one, so it's kind of a mid cap. I think they're like, what's their market cap on this one? $6 billion. They're not a very big company, but notice that since they've broken above this, yeah, there was a big pullback, but the following move, all-time highs. That is literally your cup and handle that's forming, and it's going to go absolutely mental. I believe that thing's going to go crazy. Yeah, that's it. That pretty much wraps up my video. I did things a little bit differently here. I gotta say, I do see some signs of potential buyers exhaustion coming into play here. If I had to take a good guess as to where that price would go, again, I want to see that zone, this zone here, hold at 685. You know, a possible retest here at 750, or just blast above it if it's going to keep going. Big moves like this sometimes need time. They need time to cool off. And what would that be? 20%, 10%? It dropped to 20. If it did give you 20% pullback. If it did, 15, 13. I don't know. It might. But I think long term, you guys, if you think big picture, if you're thinking really big picture, guys, I think there's something really big that's happening here. And you know what's going to happen here? And I've shared this chart before with other people, but I'll do it again. This is a fun chart. I really should have ended my video, but this is the fun part. Resistance here, $12. Could we get 12? Why not? Before it decides to give you a cool off, like let it rip. Like I think this is, and this is, in my opinion, will be a major game changer here above 12. Look at that. The weekly candle on that is only 771. 771 on the weekly. Like 30 cents. Can NIO do it next week? I mean, I think so. It's a possibility. Something big's coming, guys. And the reason why this chart's really fun and why I wanted to show this to you before I ended the video is, as you can see, and you can just see Savannah as a prime example here. I don't even have the chart there, but I'll have to draw it real quick. As you can see, look at that. Above the weekly, broke up, back to the top. And that top, by the way, for NIO, when NIO makes that move, will be, I mean, I'm just guessing it's 80 or 90 bucks. And it doesn't have to stop there. It could break above, and then we'll cross those bridges when we get there, guys. That wraps up my video. If we see some negative price action or some pullbacks, just know that I think every single dip from here on out will be for bulls to actually take advantage of. Anyone that's still bearish, just show them this. Like you're going basically from like 3 years of like shit price action. Things are different now, clearly different, completely different. And that's just across the board for all of China. Baba, Baidu, everything. Nothing but positive stuff to say. So that's all I got to say for today, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to actually smash the subscribe button. That will be really helpful to me, as well as give me the thumbs up. And if you had any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.